your election headquarters on TV, radio, and online. Election headquarters, supported by Star Ghana and Infobox.
The coordinator of the John Mahama campaign team for the 2012 election has expressed optimism the National Democratic Congress will win the 2012 election, though they do not start their campaign in good time. Speaking to journalists on the president's tour of the Western region, Elvis Ankra said they have been able to catch up after just a month of campaigning.
According to Elvis Ankra, the initial plan of the NDC was to launch the campaign in August, but the demise of their presidential candidate, late President Mills, suddenly disrupted all of the party's plans. A new flag bearer, John Mahama, had to be elected at an emergency delegate congress in Kumasi to lead the ruling party to the December polls. After jumping all these hurdles, Ankra said there was little time left for the NDC to launch its campaign and manifesto, as well as crisscross the length and breadth of the country to convince Ghanaians to retain them in power. Other political parties, including the NPP, started their campaign some 2 years ago, with their presidential candidate going around every corner of the country over and over again, convincing Ghanaians to vote out the NDC. But Elvis Ankra says the NDC has been able to catch up with other political parties.
Under normal circumstances, we do 2-3 places a day, but we're doing 6-5 a day. And this is just to catch up with time. And that is why sometimes we have to stay till very late. But we're ready. God has given us the strength, and He'll continue to strengthen us. And we believe that the way we're going, we have almost caught up. We've caught up already, and we just want to consolidate the victory that is beckoning at us, so that we secure the one-touch victory that we've been talking about. This is not the Western region that I know. It was more like touring one of our strongholds. You know that when you're in your stronghold, you get an avalanche of support wherever you go. And when you're in a swing area too, the support is muted. There are places that you have a support base and the people will come out, and there are places that you don't have so much of a support base. But in this particular tour, the entire Western region appeared to be swinging in our direction.
In the absence of credible polls, December 7 will be the only decider of whether indeed the NDC caught up with the other parties in its campaign to retain power. Seth Kwame Boateng filed this report from the Mahama 2012 campaign trail.
Former President John Kufuor has lashed out at the NDC government for lacking the type of quality leadership required to quickly transform Ghana. Speaking at an NPP campaign launch in Cape Coast, the former president emphasized that Ghana as a nation has everything it needs to transform itself rapidly, but bad leadership has resulted in untold hardships for the people. Meanwhile, the NPP is taking a swipe at the ruling NDC for touting some projects started by the NPP as its achievement within the energy sector. Communications Director of the NPP, Nana Komia, at a news conference today, outlined major projects, including the Asogli power plant. It says it started before leaving office. He also accused the NDC for lack of foresight in dealing with the current load-shedding exercise.
Nana Komia described the action of the ruling party as mere propaganda, outlining the projects he believed were achievements of his party. Expressing his disappointment with the current state of power rationing in the country, he said the NPP will introduce a new thinking in power management which will curb the total blackout of communities.
When somebody tells you we have generated an extra 376 capacity and is unprecedented, it is not the truth. It is the usual propaganda that we are being fed with. The NPP wants to bring new thinking into this whole business of load shedding. These days, there are devices that you fix in households that, by radio signals, can shut down power to, let's say, higher energy consuming domestic appliances. Is that the NPP would propose to assist domestic consumers to acquire portable battery-operated power banks, just like the UPS.
Meanwhile, General Secretary Operations with the NDC, George Lawson, refuted these allegations and asked why the NPP could not implement these while in power for 8 years.
People have been in power for 8 years. What did he do? Today they are telling us solution to whatever. What did he do? They rather brought in toys. That never worked. That was not powered. They brought in some plans that never worked. And today what are they telling? We are not saying that Akosombo is not functioning. We all know Akosombo is functioning at full capacity. But you all know what befell us. The West African gas pipeline that supplies gas to Benin, Togo, Ghana, and whatever. Yes, there was a problem with it. If that damage is repaired, there will be no rationing of power again. So I don't know what they are talking about.
According to the NPP, it has had the most remarkable stride in the energy sector, recounting its efforts in rural electrification, claiming to have connected close to 3,000 communities at the time they left office.
The issue of unemployment in Ghana is one that is discussed on every street corner, particularly in the light of the upcoming elections. The various political parties have all presented their intentions on the matter in their manifestos, but are their solutions based on facts or conjured out of political ideologies?
The NCCE has shared its research findings on the issue of unemployment in Ghana with the various political parties. Among the recommendations to government were the creation of jobs for youth and unemployed graduates, the creation of employment avenues, industries for youth jobs, and relocation of businesses in other regions and district capitals. MPs have also been asked to do their bit by catering for youth employment, attracting investors, facilitating loans, and presenting the needs of the people on the floor of Parliament. In an interview with Joy News, the various parties expressed similar views on the issue and intimated that they would not be opposed to a national agenda which pulls together intellectual resources irrespective of political affiliation.
When you are just exporting raw materials, when you are just producing raw materials, and according to statistics of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, about 30% post-harvest loss. That's a waste in the system. So you do not create jobs by just producing, but how can we preserve that? How can we transform all that process of transformation of raw material into finished products? Job creating opportunities.
55 years on, cocoa is our major exporter and the largest contributor to our GDP. And the bags in which we put cocoa, we are always importing from Bangladesh. 16 million a year. It is not acceptable. We are in this country 55 years on, and we are unable to resuscitate the Bulgar meat factory, the Bulgar tomatoes factory. You know, these are things that are not rocket science. You see it and you know that you just have to do it.
If we can have a national committee that will be able to receive ideas from other political parties so that we can have a particular program for this country. And at times you come out with the idea, a ruling government will work with it without even giving you that particular recognition.
The Commission has held similar fora on education and
As we draw closer to the December general elections, accusations and counter-accusations, emergence of secret tapes reporting one mayhem or the other, and even the recent EC bribery scandal appear to be causing anxiety amongst the public. That is what we found out when we stepped out of the newsroom to gauge public opinion on these recent developments.
Personally, I'm not afraid, okay? If really what they are saying is true, then it's not good. It doesn't speak well of the nation. But since the case is now with the police, let's see what will come out of that.
If he can take bribe from a party, it can also manipulate the results as well to suit that party. Then the alleged tape that is out, I don't know whether the confirmations are also true. So I just want authorities to come out with a clarification whether it is true or not, so that I'll feel safe when I'm going to vote.
The situation is very bad.
So what is the guarantee that the proper or the actual votes that will be casted by the people will be given out? It means is that he's going to give us the wrong figure, and it's going to bring chaos in the country.
If nothing is done about it, it's going to have a great impact on us. I plead that something good should be seen and done about it.
then it means things are being planned in our absence, behind us. That if you are not careful, we don't deal with it now, it might pop its head again. Still, there must be leaders, so we still have to vote. But it will take us some time. We need to rather change our attitude towards them. And then it has to start gradually. Then we have to start training our children from the grassroots. Otherwise, they are going to have the same ideals and put up the same behavior if they are voted into power.
All of us as Ghanaians, even whether you are voting or not voting, it should be part of everyone to ensure that there is free and fair elections. And after the election, we go on. It's about time we change from such political areas of like talking politics all the time to tackle issues that will be of interest to the whole state.